you're looking to dive into topics on how to live a happier, healthier, more fit, and long lifespan, then you've come to the right podcast. Livin' the Dream with me, Coach Damian Evans. Together, we will explore the topics on all things health, fitness, and wellness. Together, we will be lifelong learners on this journey to living the ultimate dream. What up, Dream Team? Coach D here, coming at you from beautiful, sunny San Diego, and welcome back to the Livin' the Dream podcast. And today we're diving into Chapter 8 of the book, Make Change That Lasts, by Dr. Rangan Chatterjee. This chapter is titled, Reclaim Your Time, Letting Go of the Reliance on Busyness. How are you? When was the last time someone asked you that? How are you? It was probably pretty frequently and probably very recently. And when was the last time you answered, oh, I've just been so busy, or nonstop, man, just grinding, trying to get everything done? Does that sound familiar? We live in a world where busyness is the default. We're taught that if we're not constantly working, if we're not constantly rushing or producing, we are somehow falling behind. But let me challenge you on this. Being busy is not the same as being productive. Being busy is not the same as being successful. Being busy is not the same as living a fulfilling life. So today, we're going to talk about how to break free from the busyness trap and how to reclaim your time so that you can actually live, breathe, and thrive. The toxic myth of busyness. Let's get real. A lot of people use busyness as a crutch. I know, don't get defensive. I'm here with you. We're all in it together. It's easier to be busy than to sit still and ask yourself, am I actually living the life that I want? It's easier to say yes to everything than to set boundaries and focus on what truly matters. It's easier to keep grinding than to admit that maybe, just maybe, we're moving fast in the wrong direction. Busyness can become a form of avoidance. We avoid tough conversations by filling our schedules. We avoid facing our health by telling others and ourselves we're too busy to work out. We avoid deep personal work by jumping from one task to another, never stopping to breathe. And before we know it, years have gone by. We've accomplished things, but have we actually built a meaningful, fulfilling life? Let's break the cycle. Let's stop glorifying busyness, because busyness without purpose is just a fast track to burnout. Now, in the book, Dr. Chatterjee talks about the 5 fuel tanks of a successful life. So I want you to imagine your life as a car. Your car has 5 fuel tanks. Now, each tank represents an area of life that needs energy to function. The first fuel tank is work and purpose. This is your career. This is your business. This is your mission. The second fuel tank is your family and your close relationships, your loved ones, your emotional connections. The third fuel tank, kind of similar to the second, is your friendships, your social life, your community, support systems. And the fourth fuel tank is your health, your well-being. This is your physical, your mental, and your emotional health. And the fifth fuel tank are your passions, your personal growth, your hobbies, your learning, your adventure. So we have work and purpose. We have your close relationships, your family. We then have your friendships and your social life, your community, your health and well-being, and then your passions and personal growth. These 5 fuel tanks. Now, the problem, most people only fuel one tank and they let the others run completely empty. Have you ever met someone who's absolutely killing it at work, but their relationships are falling apart? Or someone who's always at the gym, but never makes time for their family? Someone who lives for their social life, but completely ignores their health. Real success isn't burning yourself out in one area. It's about trying to keep all 5 tanks at least partially full, at least part of the time. There's a story of a CEO making millions of dollars, billions of dollars. He had status, he had success, financial security. But guess what? He was exhausted all the time. His marriage was hanging on by a thread. His body was breaking down. His work tank was just absolutely overflowing. But his health, his family, his personal life, those tanks were empty. So you could ask him, if you keep going like this for 10 more years, what does that life look like? I bet you that statement, that question would hit him. He would start rebalancing, setting boundaries at work, prioritizing workouts and sleep, spending real time with his wife and his kids. I bet if you fast forward 6 months after asking him that question, he would be healthier, happier, less stressed, still successful probably, but no longer a slave to busyness. So here's your challenge. Check your fuel tanks. Which one of those 5 fuel tanks for you is thriving? Which one is completely empty? What needs to change? Because burnout isn't success. Balance is success. Here's some actionable strategies to reclaim your time. The anti-busyness question. Identify what truly matters. What is the most important thing that I need to do today? Not a bunch of things, not a huge list. What is the most important thing that I need to do today? Why does this question matter? Because busyness tricks us into thinking that everything is so urgent. Because when everything is a priority, then nothing is a priority. When everything is a priority, then nothing is a priority. A client of mine was a high-level executive, and she told me that she worked 12-hour days, and she still felt like she was falling behind. When we sat down and I asked her, what actually moves the needle in your life and your work? Guess what? Only 2 to 3 things truly mattered. Everything else, busy work, noise, distractions. So she started her days by asking, what's the one thing that I need to do today that actually matters? Not 10 things, not 5 things. What's the one thing? And guess what? She worked less, but achieved more. She had time for her workouts, her family, and her rest and recovery time. She actually felt in control instead of drowning in tasks that are impossible to complete. Try it every morning before you dive into your to-do list. Ask yourself, what's the one thing that truly matters today? The next task, the next method is the push-pause method. Break the cycle of rushing. If you ever feel like you're always in a rush, you're rushing to respond to text messages, you're rushing through workouts, you're rushing through conversations, we default to speed. But speed kills presence. Speed kills focus. And speed kills peace. The push-pause method trains you to slow down on purpose. When your phone dings, pause. Wait 60 seconds before opening up your phone and replying. When you're driving, ease up a little bit. Breathe. Enjoy the ride. You get there 2 minutes later, is that really going to affect you? It'll probably affect you for the better. Ease up, breathe, enjoy the ride. When you eat, chew a little slower. Taste your food. Mindful eating. It sounds simple, right? But it really is life-changing. Slowing down equals less stress, more awareness, and better decision-making. The next thing you can do here is the slow down challenge. And I'm only saying all of these things because this hit me so hard because I am someone that will have a really hard time doing this. Why do you need to unplug? Maybe one day a week, intentionally slow down. No back-to-back meetings, no screen time overload, just presence. Maybe family, maybe reflection, maybe recovery. Why? Because your brain needs downtime. Downtime to process thoughts, downtime to process your emotions and your decisions. Your body needs recovery to function at peak levels. And your relationships need undistracted time in order to grow. So how to try it? Maybe pick one day a week or even just a 4 to 5 hour block. Disconnect from distractions, social media, work, emails. Do things that actually fuel you up. You'll feel more recharged in one slow day than in a whole week of burnout. So, in conclusion for this chapter, busyness is a trap. It makes you feel productive while stealing your energy. It convinces you to chase everything while missing what truly matters. So start prioritizing what fuels you. Start saying no to the noise. Start slowing down so you can speed up where it truly counts. And next time, last chapter, we're going to be tackling the final key to thriving, giving more than you take. Because the happiest, healthiest, most fulfilled people, they don't just take from life, they give. So don't miss out on next week's chapter. Chapter 9, it might just change your life. And that's it, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Livin the Dream podcast. Please share the knowledge that you gain with your friends and family and hold each other accountable. If this episode inspired you, share it with a friend who could benefit from what we talked about today. To support this podcast and help it grow, please subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on and leave a review telling others how this podcast benefited you. Leave a comment on this episode letting me know how you're incorporating all the things that we talked about today. This is a non-cost way to help get this important wellness content into more people's ears. Tag me at livinthedream_podcast or at coachdamian_SD and let us know how this episode benefited you. Let us know what we missed and let us know what we got wrong. We want to know. Message us if you have any suggestions or tips that would help your Livin the Dream team that we can discuss in future episodes. I will be right here with you working on making us stronger, happier, and healthier humans. Until next time, friends, keep living the dream.